Ecclesiastes 2, verse 1. I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with pleasure, enjoy yourself. But behold, this was also vanity. Verse 2. I said of laughter, it is mad, and of pleasure, what use is it? Verse 3. I searched with my heart how to cheer my body with wine, my heart still guiding me with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the children of man to do under heaven during the few days of their life. Good morning, YouTube. So this morning, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with some hydration and lemon water before I drink my coffee. I have this really big problem of waking up and downing an espresso shot, or just a regular cup of coffee. So this morning, I'm sitting by my window on my little yoga mat and gonna practice some peace of mind. So this morning routine, we're actually going to focus on silence. We're gonna have some silent time with God, focus on hearing his voice, not just talking. Of course, we're gonna read the Bible, and we're gonna sit in silence on just letting all my thoughts, my stresses flow out. Meaning not worry about anything, just I like to listen to guitar or violin instrumentals. Just taking the peace. We're probably gonna go outside and get a little bit of sun this morning because I also have to edit some videos and do some at-home work. And I'm also working on a book, you guys. I'm an author of one book and I'm working on my second one, so still stay tuned for that. And that's gonna be a little glimpse of the morning routine on top of some self-care, facial care, and a little bit of reading just for myself. Ashwagandha in the morning to help with my mental clarity. And then I also take a joint and a bone support. I also take different herbs every morning. It just depends on what it is. So I'll have a whole different little area. I don't know if you guys can see that. My little herb setup. Have I taken all of them? Most likely not. And I just had my first urge of doom scrolling, and it's so natural to me sometimes. I literally just sat on the couch and opened up my phone, and then I remembered we're not doing that today. So I'm in the middle of reading Isaiah chapter 2, and I just felt called to read it. Not only that, I've been dreaming about it, surprisingly. So I was like, well, this is gonna be my journey to read Isaiah. And I'm sorry if you can hear the music. My husband is up and his favorite thing to do in the morning is blast Christian music, but I can't even be mad, it could be worse. So I started this journal, I call it my Jesus journal, and it's really everything about Jesus, and it goes through some of his teachings, but the main focus is how did he handle certain situations. And I use this notebook to go back, and when I'm struggling with something or I want to find out more information about something, I can look at Jesus's way of doing that. So I have the correct example instead of going to YouTube or Pinterest. And some examples are, how did Jesus stay humble? Or how did Jesus worship? How did Jesus handle rejection and betrayal? And I highly encourage you guys to have a little notebook that you dedicate to simply the teachings of Jesus and or how he handled certain things, because I feel like we go to the world too much to find out these things or these topics and how to handle them. And I get it, we all need help, but we don't rely on Jesus enough. So during this whole time, even though I started this a bit ago, I'm going to be taking it even more serious and really trying to understand how Jesus handled certain situations, so that when I come through it on this journey, I have his way of handling it, so I can actually represent that. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. As of right now, I'm on a high protein diet. So usually before my runs, I will take about half a cup of Greek yogurt and some type of fruit. Today I'm gonna be doing banana. And then after my workout, I usually give it about like half an hour, maybe an hour, and I'll have another meal that's high protein. We're gonna go on a run soon, and we're gonna do this without music, with lyrics that pump you up. So I was kind of looking before I even got down here to brush my teeth. There is at least some music that are instrumentals that are still upbeat. So it might not be as bad as I thought. I'm gonna come back and get started on the rest of what I have to do today. So we're gonna get some movement in and keep it moving. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Alright, I hit 1 mile. That's it right now. It's hot. I don't know how y'all be running for fun and not be dying. But I'm gonna take a breather, drink some water, and stand by this water because it's beautiful out. Alright, you guys. So I ran about a mile and I didn't listen to any music this time with the lyrics. It was just instrumentals, and it was actually pretty nice. Something totally just bit me. Okay, so I'm sitting in a bunch of fire ants. Pause. That was very disrespectful, but I get it, whatever. I'm in your territory. Anyways, I've been listening to it the whole time, and it wasn't too bad. I definitely kind of missed my music, and I had a few urges to go back to have it more upbeat, but I did end up trying to stop playing music all completely. I ain't there yet. I could hear me running. I could hear my breath. I sounded like an elephant trampling the ground. We're not doing that. Not yet. I'll work my courage up to there. We're gonna go slowly but surely right now. This is my first video. So, not too bad, y'all. Give it a try. I think we have to understand that Jesus lived really, really simply, and there was times he didn't even have a place to lay his head. And we're blessed to have all of our blessings, but we rely on them a little bit too much. And I think it's good to resist a culture of excess and be thankful for the little things in life. And then if we get more abundance, then that's a blessing. But we also end up forgetting our gratitude. We forget our blessings because we're so used to having them. We're used to living in our house. We're used to eating the food that we get from the store because it's a normal grocery shopping day. But look at our blessings and count our blessings. And I think this practicing simplicity is going to ground us in that, ground me in that, since it's my video, and realize where we came from, and that's originally God. This is going to help us say no to what doesn't matter and yes to what matters. And of course, the only thing that matters is what we focus on eternity for. It's also going to help us live with intention, not impulse, focus on our blessings, not comparison, and living contently. So if you guys find yourself asking, well, where do I start to practice simplicity? I don't know. I simply had to pray about it and just start. That's my tip to you guys.
In that day, mankind will cast away their idols of silver and their idols of gold, which they made up for themselves to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to enter the caverns of the rocks and the clefts to the cliffs, from before the terror of the Lord and from the splendor of his majesty, when he rises to terrify the earth.
I did a little bit of Bible reading at the park. Now, I do way more Bible reading on my own time at home. It feels a little weird to me recording every single moment with God on camera, because then I feel like it's not really about me and God. So I don't want to record all of it. I just record some of it so that you can see that it's in my routine.
Ecclesiastes 9. But all this I laid to heart, examining it all, how the righteous and the wise in their deeds are in the hand of God. Whether it is love or hate, man does not know, but both are before him. It is the same for all, since the same event happens to the righteous and the wicked, to the good and to the evil, to the clean and the unclean, to him who sacrifices and him who does not sacrifice.
Right, so I did my facial. I did a quick retwist on my hair, not too much of anything. I just wanted to look more presentable and more freshen up, just to make myself feel better, not even for camera. But now I'm gonna put on something more flowy, and we're gonna do the rest of our afternoon routine and spend some time with Jesus.
Honestly, it's hard to be still. I never realized this, but my mind wanders and my body wants to keep going. I struggle at being calm and simple. Relaxing feels lazy to me. It's a habit that I have to break. I get impatient listening to God sometimes because I have to be still to hear him. My antsiness can become a sin, or at the least, push me away from the Lord. I want to read this little glimpse of one of my favorite books that I'm reading right now. I think it's just so beautiful, and it explains the love of Christ. The love of Christ compels us to choose obedience. Being obedient is not our way of earning God's favor. It is not the path to a more prosperous life. God's favor is with those who love his Son, and our promise of prosperity lies in what we have waiting for us in our eternal home. Jesus, whose amazing love compels us, said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." This book that I'm reading right now, it's what happens when women say yes to God and walk in faith. It is such a beautiful book. I am a skeptic when it comes to reading books that other people have written. And it's not that it's a bad thing to read them, but a lot of it ends up being their opinion. So I usually just revert back to the Bible. But I love reading, and I'm a nonfiction type of reader. I really don't like fake stuff. I like historical books and not self-help books, but things like this, where I'm reading it with caution, but so far it's absolutely beautifully written. And I mean, I'm an author myself. I've written a book. But this book shows you what it looks like for a woman to walk in obedience and what happens when you truly say yes to God. And this book is helping me right now because that's what I'm trying to learn how to do. Say more yeses to God versus hesitation and yes to the world. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap some things up. Today was day one of me pursuing simplicity, chasing after Jesus a little bit more than just wasting my quality time. And it went pretty good. Not too many struggles. I don't really have much that distracts me on the weekends
starts getting into it when I have my military duties and when I start going to work. But really quick, I wanted to talk about worldliness and how a lot of people think that worldliness looks like an external behavior, what you do in your morning routine and your afternoon routine and how you treat other people. But it's mainly internal. It starts in the heart, and then it's characterized by 3 different attitudes. It starts with like preoccupation of gratifying the flesh, all these physical desires that you actually crave all the time. Then it goes to the lust of the eyes, when you're accumulating things and you want more and you see this and now you're ungrateful. This is you kind of bowing down to the materialism, the god of materialism. It also becomes an obsession of one's status and importance. Like, well, I do this for a living and I have this much money. This is my house, this is my car. But the reason why we need to pursue this simplicity and chase after God even more is because God's contrast is a spirit of generosity, self-control, and contentment to be humble. And I want you guys to understand that it's very, very possible to give the impression of avoiding worldly pleasures. And you can be doing this while still harboring worldly desires in your heart. And that's the nitpick that we need to be doing, is get it out of your heart. It's not just external attitudes and different behaviors that you're doing for a video or just to make your peers think that you're Christian. You have to let Jesus change your heart. And the only way you can do that is by bringing it to him. And that's the point of this entire series, is stop harboring the world in your heart and harbor the word in your heart. Live for eternity. Live for the things that actually matter, because everything is going to be gone. Read Ecclesiastes. What are you going to take with you when you die? Like, serious question. Anything that you will take with you in your house, let me know. It's your spirit, it's your soul. So we need to be taking care of our soul, our spirit, our mind, way more than what we're harboring, our future, our retirement plan. These are the important things of life, which is why I want you guys to focus on this series with me on simplicity with Jesus. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna be uploading this series a few times a month. I can't promise you which days because I get busy, and I'm also trying to upload other content as well. So hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, join the community, and also learn simplicity with me. I don't want to do this alone, you guys. This is for us to learn together because it's hard out there and we need to focus on Jesus more than the world. So I will see you in the next videos, and God bless.